How to optimize and audit your Pinterest business account. Let's cover the images. Hey Pinners, it's Michelle Held from PinTalk.net, and this is video 4 of 8 in my series on how to optimize and audit your Pinterest business strategy. In this video, I'm going to talk about images. If you haven't seen them yet, this is video number 4, and I had an intro video, which doesn't count, that was video 0. And in video 1, I covered how to set up and optimize your account. And then in video number 2, we covered board optimization and talked about what boards to choose, how to name them, and how to fill in information and the text description so you get the most views and optimize that for SEO. In the third video, I talked about Pinterest pins, mostly organic pins, but a little bit about promoted, and I'm going to cover that in a future video. And this is video number 4. We're talking about what's the optimum or best image size for your Pinterest pin. So I have this blank title up, or blank pin up, excuse me. We saw this in video 3, but I'm going to cover it in a little bit more depth. So here is our uploader for desktop Pinterest, and you can drag an image here. Make sure you add a title, and you have a 500 character description field to fill in. And then of course your link, and this is an organic standard pin, meaning just your ordinary free Pinterest pin. Be sure to add a title. That is an opportunity to get messaging across, and if you don't choose a title, then Pinterest is going to fill one in for you. The text on your image and the text in your title are 2 opportunities to get messaging through, so don't miss out on either one of those. A couple ways to add text on top of an image here. Go to our next video. So ideal pin, we always want to have a color saturated pin, so no white backgrounds or really light color backgrounds. This is a booklet actually for sale on Amazon, but nice dark blue title, or excuse me, image here. I choose my board. This one happens to have a section, that's optional, but title filled in, used up all the text description, but the important part here is the image. That's what this video is about. So nice dark blue color, and I have a vertical image. So here's what you have for your pin itself. 100 characters max on the title, but you really want to fit that in say 30 to 50 characters. You can use up to 100, but stuff at the last half of the title should be a little less important because it can get cut off depending on the device and how your user is looking at it. Descriptions 500 characters, and here's your title. 50 to 60 characters are important. And here's the image sizes that you should use. A couple types of pins. You have organic and promoted. In case you haven't used it, a promoted pin is a paid campaign on Pinterest, so you have some differences in what you can use, but if you use a 2:3 aspect ratio or 9:16, that will work. That gives you a vertical pin. So it's taller than it is wide, and the reason those are optimum pins is because it takes up more vertical real estate on a Pinterest newsfeed. Remember, at least half of the people who see your Pinterest pin are not your followers, so you need to stand out in the newsfeed so you get more engagement, more saves. You could use square, but I would go with the vertical, the 2:3 or 9:16. I usually use 2:3 because I can also reuse those images on my website and blog posts and in emails. They're not too huge. 9:16 works well. That is turned around from what I would use for a YouTube video. So you can have video pins now, and that is a feature last year from Pinterest, 4 seconds to 15 minutes, but you don't want to go long. I would go with a 30-second to 1 minute, 2 minutes tops for your pin. And here's what the aspect ratios look like. 1:1, 16:9. I said 9:16 over here, that's the opposite. And if you're going to use a video pin, then get your information in the first minute, definitely 2 minutes, but they're great for storytelling. Optimum pin size, organic, promoted app. You're only going to use a promoted app if you actually have an app, because the click on the pin sends the person right to the app download. You can use PNG or JPEGs. Remember, don't put your logo down here in the lower right corner because it's going to get covered up. And here's a nice example of a 2:3 aspect ratio. We should be avoiding faces in our Pinterest pins because they are known to not get as much engagement. So our ideal pin, 2:3, saturated background, lots of color, don't put a human face in it. So this guy right here, not so ideal. Here are a couple other examples of features in pins, but almost a face there. This is a good way to cut it off, saturated background. So let's go over to Pinterest and look, see what that looks like. We'll go right here. Let's get out of this. Get out of that. And come over to my Pinterest account. So you see the difference. I uploaded a few. These are the ones I use as a 2:3 aspect ratio. I usually make them, I think they're 800 pixels tall. And here are ones, these are actually 16:9. So they are actually optimized to use on YouTube and my website. And I didn't go ahead and make a different, this got automatically saved. What I do is I put a taller pin at the bottom of each blog post, and that a lot of times doesn't get, this is an automation, it doesn't get saved, so that's why you see these horizontal ones here. But here are taller aspect ratios, and you just see that scrolling through the newsfeed, the taller pins stand out. So that's your optimum image, taller than it is wide. Use a 2:3 aspect ratio, saturated backgrounds, see how the color stands out. Trying to get engagement from people who are not your followers, so you can build up your following, build up your engagement, and get more saves to your account. So stay tuned for video number 5 coming up, and we'll talk about how to optimize text and hashtags, and that'll be for search engine optimization on Pinterest and on Google. Carry on, Pinners.